Are you thinking of getting an ROG Ally but concerned it might end up being another device that collects dust on the shelf? Well, this is my ROG Ally, and this thing gets a surprising amount of use even outside of gaming. I've been surprised at just how capable this little guy really is and how it's saved me some money by also not having to buy a laptop. So I guess the question is, just how much can a Windows Handheld do for you? Mine is the base model ROG Ally from 2023, but in my experience, the base Z1 non-extreme chip has been more than enough for everything that I use it for. Apart from the obvious gaming usage, this thing has been my best friend whenever I need a portable computer. I just pack it up in this carry case I got on Amazon and take it wherever I want. Just like a laptop, but more fun. To begin, I'll just quickly go over how I use it for gaming because even though it might sound obvious, I do still have a couple tricks up my sleeve. On this device, I like to use Big Box to organize my games and emulators rather than the built-in ASUS Armory crate thingy, or just clicking around the desktop, which I guess you can also just do if you like. But I just think Big Box works better, looks better, and has better customizability. Big Box is a paid software as part of Launchbox Premium. This is not a sponsored video, but I will always give Launchbox a shout out just because I love using their software that much, and I know you guys are going to ask me what software it is anyways. Check this out though. There's a ton of games in my Big Box, but they're not actually all downloaded to my Ally. I'm actually using my Synology drive to sync my ROMs on demand. This is not a requirement, but if I actually open the ROMs folders on my Ally, you'll notice these little sync icons. Green means it's downloaded, and blue means it's in my own personal cloud, which is just my Synology NAS sitting in my living room back home. So if I'm ever scrolling through my Big Box and I see a game that I want to play, I can just click on it like normal, and I don't really have to do anything extra. My Synology drive will just sync that ROM onto the device on demand. I have a similar process for emulator save files and save states that syncs through my OneDrive because I'm already signed in with my Microsoft account through Windows on this device and my gaming PC back home, so it all just works really well. Playing games locally on the ROG Ally is super convenient, but sometimes the performance is lacking, especially in those AAA PC titles. I like to take the performance a step further by game streaming from my gaming PC back home. Streaming games and emulators from my gaming PC back home means I'm taking full advantage of the 1080p 120Hz screen built into this device, as well as not having to worry as much about things like drive storage and battery life on this. For my self-hosted PC game streaming, I am using the Moonlight client, which is super easy to use on this device. I've already made a whole video on why you should hybridize your gaming setup if you already have a gaming PC back home and are looking to get one of these for the portability. So of course, I'll drop the link for that video in case you're interested. But the Moonlight application is super useful beyond just game streaming because at its core, it is a super low latency remote desktop application. This is perfect on the Ally since you not only have the touchscreen and software keyboard, but that's, the same as your phone or iPad, but this has the built-in mouse simulation on the joystick, the click on the right bumper, and the right click on the right trigger. The ROG Ally also has built-in macros like pulling up the software keyboard with the back button and up on the D-pad. You can even have custom macros per game or application. Like for the Moonlight application, I have custom macros to switch monitors while I'm streaming, which all of this just makes controlling your remote PC really easy on the Ally, even easier than on my iPhone or iPad, so I just really enjoy using the ROG Ally to control my remote PC. Okay, we've established that the Ally is an amazing remote client, but what else can it do? Well, the answer is, not surprisingly, pretty much anything a laptop can do. For instance, there was actually a time when this thing came in really clutch. I was helping fix a PC, but the SSD was going bad, so we took it out and we had the drive caddy, but I was trying to load the files on my iPad and it just wasn't connecting for some reason, so I thought fast and I realized I had another Windows device with me, the ROG Ally. So I just plugged the drive in USB-C here, and I was able to pull up the files no problem and copy them over just because it's like a Windows to Windows thing. Makes it really easy. So this thing made it easy even though I didn't have a real laptop with me. Here at the new studio, I've been getting into 3D printing lately. Now my main PC is back home, but the 3D printer is here. So I needed something to run the 3D design software as well as the 3D printer slicer software on site. At first I thought there was no way this little guy can run the same 3D software as my PC back home, but I figured I should give it a try before running out and buying a laptop or a second PC. So I installed the 3D software on the Ally and boom, it just works. If you're using FreeCAD like me, just set the controls to gesture mode and then you can feel free to use the joysticks, bumpers, and triggers to look around and rotate your design, and even use things like the D-pad to bump up or down any values you've selected, or the X and Y buttons to zoom in and out. It's actually a really easy and convenient way to work on 3D models on the go. I'll constantly just whip out the Ally here at the shop to make a quick model or even make an adjustment quick to a model before I print it. Speaking of 3D printing, the next software I load up on here is the 3D printer slicer software. Lately I'm using the FlashForge slicer called FlashPrint because that's what comes with my FlashForge printer, but there are other slicers you can use. I can load up the model I just made in FreeCAD here in FlashPrint and use the bumpers and triggers to rotate and select my model and then send it over to my printer right over Wi-Fi. It just works really well for me and feels really futuristic to do a 3D design on here. It kind of feels like a data pad from a sci-fi series or something. There are so many other times where the ROG Ally is just as useful as a laptop, so I'll go over a few more quick examples here. After a video shoot like this, I'll just plug in my Sony camera, USB-C to USB-C, and dump the footage right into my Synology drive where it will sync back to my computer back home, ready to be edited. The video files don't take up any space on my ROG Ally since they are automatically offloaded by Synology drive. I can do the same thing with my iPhone if I've taken any photos or videos on that. Same thing, just USB-C on both ends, drag the video files over, makes things so easy for me. And again with my GoPro, I can do USB-C with that too, but since the Ally also has a micro SD port, I can just dump footage a little bit faster that way, especially since the GoPro files can get pretty big if I've been recording for a while. Same thing with my drone, I can just dump the micro SD card right in there. Past that, I think it's worth mentioning that if you can prop this bad boy up, you can add a mouse and keyboard and make yourself a nice little portable computing station. I can do some writing like this video script, or I could do some web browsing, play some games of course, or even just watch Crunchyroll or whatever I want. You can take it a step further by adding a monitor if you like. You could have a whole workstation set up with a docking station, multiple monitors, mouse and keyboard, the works if you want. Basically a full computer just with the ROG Ally at its core. But at that point, if you're docked in 100% of the time, it would probably be more cost effective just to go with a desktop PC. So the only thing that I really can't get into on this device is my video editing workflow. I do all my video editing sitting at my battle station back home. I've got my nice ultra-wide monitor, mouse and keyboard, I'm set up, I'm good to go. So that's kind of where I draw the line on this device. It's perfect for all the little things I need to do while out and about, but when sit down focus like for video editing is required, that's where I'll stick to my PC. So I thought this video might help you if you're thinking about getting one of these but might be concerned that it might just sit on the shelf. I've been getting a lot of use out of mine and I think you might find it useful as well. Thanks for watching, see you in the next one, peace.